What you'll need is yarn of your choice. I have chosen Caron Simply Soft in Melon. Size 9 needles. Mine are on a circular, but they can be straight. 2 double pointed needles or 2 cable needles. 1 for cabling and 1 for holding our stitches. Then you'll also want some stoppers for your double pointed needle so that we can hold our stitches on throughout the project, or a stitch holder like this. So we're going to do what is called a figure 8 cast on. So now our cable and the center of our headband consists of 12 stitches, and then we're going to add 3 stitches on either side. So we're going to cast on 18 stitches altogether. So you want to take your working needle, so this is my 9 circular, and you want to take your double pointed or cable needle. Leave a tail somewhat long, and you're going to hold your needles next to each other but with a space. Hold the tail in the back, and then we're going to do a figure 8. So you're just going to come over your back needle, in between, and up around the bottom needle and in between. So right there we've cast on 2. So come over the back needle and in between, and up over your bottom needle and in between. So we have 4 stitches, and you want to keep them not too far apart. The needle's too far apart because you want to keep your stitches together. So up, over, and in between, then up over the bottom one and in between. And we're just going to do that for our 18 stitches. So now you want to keep doing the figure 8, and you make sure that you have 18 on both the top and the bottom needle. So once you have 18 on both your top and bottom needle, then you're going to flip your needles, and you're going to have your working needle size 9 at the top and your double pointed cable needle at the bottom. And now we're going to start our pattern off of the top needle. So because of the way we wrapped it for the figure 8, your first stitch is going to be just a little different. So you're just going to go in like normal as to knit, but instead of wrapping it around the back, we're just going to slide it up over the needle. So instead of going around the back like this, you're just going to take it over the needle. Because of the way that it's twisted, you won't even make a stitch if you do it the normal way, but just on that very first one. And then we're going to go to the next stitch, going to knit, and we're going to knit our third garter stitch. Purl 3, and knit 6. This will be a little tricky for the first row. So once you've knitted 6, then we're going to go back and we're going to purl 3. And then we're going to move into our side stitches of garter stitch, and we're going to knit the last 3. And that's what your first row should look like. So now we're going to do the second row. We're going to knit our garter side stitches of 3. And then we're going to knit our reverse stockinette from the front side. And that should be the 3 purl stitches from the first row. And now we're going to purl our cable stitches of 6. And then we're going to knit our 3 reverse stitches. And knit our 3 garter side stitches. And that will be all alternating rows. You'll just knit them how they lie on the needle. So now we're going to transfer our extra needles onto our stitch holder, or if you don't have a stitch holder, you would then just take your stoppers and just place them on the ends of your needle, just so while you're working this they don't fall off. But I'm going to transfer mine to a stitch holder. And then you're just going to pinch it closed and then just leave them there until the end of our project. Row 3, we're going to knit our garter side stitches. Going to purl our 3 reverse stitches. Knit our cable stitches. Purl our reverse. And knit our garter. For row 4, you just work the stitches how they lie on your needle. Now for row 5, we're going to knit our 3 garter stitches. And then we're going to purl 3. Knit 2. And we're going to start our first cable. So you're going to slip the next 2 stitches onto a cable needle and you're going to hold it in the back. Then you're going to knit 2 stitches from the left hand, the left needle. And then you're going to knit the 2 off the cable needle. Then you're going to purl your reverse stitches. And you're going to knit your garter stitches. Then row 6, you're just going to work them how they lie. Then for row 7, we're going to knit our 3 garter. purl our 3 reverse, then we're going to start with our next cable and we're going to slip the next 2 stitches and we're going to hold them in the front of our work. Then we're going to knit 2 off our left needle, and knit 2 off our cable. And then knit the last 2. Then we're going to purl our reverse stitches and knit our garter stitches. Then row 8, you're just going to knit them how they lie on the needle. For row 9, then we're just going to knit our garter stitches. We're going to purl our reverse stitches. We're going to knit 2. We're going to slip the next 2 onto our cable needle and we're going to hold it in the back of our work. Knit 2 off the left needle and knit 2 off our cable needle. Then we're going to purl our reverse and knit our garter stitches. Row 10, you're just going to knit them how they're lying on the needle. Then row 11, we're going to knit our 3 garter stitches. Purl our 3 reverse stitches. Then we're going to slip the next 2 stitches onto our cable needle and hold them in the front. Knit the next 2 off our left needle. Then we're going to knit the 2 off our cable needle. Then knit the last 2. Purl our 3 reverse stitches. And knit our 3 garter stitches. Then for the next rows, for 12, 13, 14, and 15, you're just going to knit them how they lie on the needle. So this is what one pattern looks like. So you're going to repeat rows 1 through 16 until you reach the center of your headband. To measure for this headband, wrap the measuring tape around your head and then subtract 1 inch, and then that is the length that your headband will be. Then take that and divide it in half, and that is where we will add our twist to our hat. Once you get to the middle of your measured length for your headband, you're just going to do 1 more row of how the stitches are lying on the needle. So you're going to knit your garter side stitches. You're going to purl your reverse 3 stitches. You're going to knit your 6 cable stitches. Purl your reverse. And knit your garter. So now we're on the wrong side row of the last bit that we've knitted. We're going to reverse that. So starting with the cable pattern again, but on the wrong side row, we're going to flip this around to be the right side row. So for row 1, you're going to follow it just like the pattern, and you're going to knit your garter stitches. But since we're reversing it, we're going to purl these knit stitches. So we're bringing our reverse stitches to the back side. And then to turn our cable around, now we're going to knit them. And we're going to purl our reverse stitches. And we're going to knit our garter stitches. So now we've done row 1 at reversing our stitches. So now you continue with the cable pattern just like you had here, except now it'll be, now the right side of this half of the cable will be on the wrong side of our previous cable. So you just keep following the pattern, rows 1 through 16, until you get the second half length of your headband. So when you've reached your measured length, then you're just going to cut a small tail of yarn. And now to finish it, so when you look at your project, you'll see that you have your cable on this end and the back of your cable here. This is where we're going to add our twist. So you just simply take it and turn. Now we want this twist in it, so that's how we would do it. Then you're going to fold this in half, and you're going to hold together the stitches on your needle and the ones we've been saving from the cast on edge. Now you can do a simple 3-needle bind off, but I'm going to do the Kitchener stitch to sew this closed. So you can check out my summer beach bag video on how to do the Kitchener stitch, and then we'll come back and view our finished headband. So once you finish with your seam, you can barely see it, it's pretty seamless, and you have your headband with your twist. I hope you guys like this headband. If you guys make it, please send me some photos. I would love to see your version of this.